Thank you very much for clicking on the video. Today we're going to be talking about OneClickMiner. And I appreciate you clicking on this video because I'm not a big, huge YouTuber. I do my best to be honest about things that I use and I try. And this is one of them. I'm going to be as honest as I can with this. No, they are not paying me to say this stuff. I actually just really like the idea, even though, as you will see in this next window, it is a high-risk activity. So what is OneClickMiner? It is a mining platform. You are essentially renting out miners on a particular cryptocurrency. So we're going to use Bitcoin just to make it easy for everybody. What you are essentially doing, and again, this is where this comes in. This wasn't here before, so maybe some have been complaining about it. Crypto mining is a high-risk activity. You may spend money on hashpower and never receive any reward. Returns are uncertain and not protected by any compensation scheme. Do not spend money you cannot afford to lose. Check that participation in mining is legal and is in your jurisdiction. So maybe it's not legal in some places. I didn't realize that. So this is just a renting company for you to partake into some mining. What is mining? I guess we can find that out here. Oh. And down below I'll have my referral if you want to give it a shot. So this is solo mining. This is their page for solo mining. We're going to only talk about Bitcoin to make it very simple. So I have an ASIC miner right here. It's called a BitX. It is able to hash out 1 terabyte, or not terabyte, I'm sorry, 1 terahash. It is very, very small, pennies compared to what miners are actually out there. But what you can actually do is rent this right here, a Bitcoin hammer. It's $8.88. It's $8.80. The price fluctuates when Bitcoin fluctuates in price, but you are paying this 0.0001 Bitcoin to use and rent out a miner that is a 1 petahash. That is as if you were using 1,000 of these. And you can rent it out for 3 hours. And given the fact that a Bitcoin Bitcoin block is found every 10 minutes, this is your chances. This will fluctuate depending on the network and how busy it is, but what you're doing is you're renting out 1,000 BitXs for 3 hours to see if you can find a block. Some find that, oh, well, I could give it a shot. Doesn't sound too crazy. And then your chances also get smaller the more you rent out. You can also go length and time. You can rent one for 24 hours straight, and you can go 72 hours. But we're only doing 3 hours right now. And that's basically it. I have spent a few bucks on this, and I haven't got anything extravagant. I think the biggest thing I have earned is a Bitcoin 2. I bought one of these, and I was able to get a block. So 33 bucks. If you're spending hundreds of dollars and then you only get a few, that's where this whole warning comes up. It's a high risk. You're just playing the odds, basically. And I'm not saying that you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying it's gambling. I'm not saying it's not gambling. It's your investment. If you're going to spend $10 to give this a shot, you have an extra $10. If you start spending up to $1,000, or let's just say $100, you can buy your very own BitX. And you could have 1 terahash running all day long for the price of a light bulb in your electricity. Now, here's a kind of a cool thing I want to kind of touch on, because later on I'm going to try to do this as a stream. They also have this thing called team mining. This is cool. And as of right now, they have one going on that starts in about 5 hours. You can get a huge group going. They're going to plan on running a Bitcoin miner or a few Bitcoin miners and run it for 12 hours. So far, they have 61 petahash out of the EFA-hash, I think it is, for the EH. You have 18 people who are participating in it. But so far, a team of people, and this is in their Discord, as you see in this bottom right-hand corner. Feel free to give that a shout. But now the probability is 1 in 244, compared to what we saw earlier. 1 in 59. That's kind of crazy. So essentially what you are doing, if you look at the odds, adjust the odds, you are jumping down to this 1,678, and those are your chances. You're about to run 250 petahash, or 250,000 of these small bit axes, which is pretty cool. But there's a certain thing you have to understand about that. If you were to participate, I'm going to say this right here, because that's about the same as the amount that you're going to get over there. You spend $35 to join the team to see if you can hit a block. You actually hit a block, this is what you're going to make. $275,000, and that is your block because you rented it solo. If you do the team mining and you are a part of this, what you have to do is start to spread it out according to how much you are actually adding or taking part of the share. So if this hits a block and I bought in this, I'm assuming you're gonna probably get $4,000. If you do the math correctly, I'm gonna say maybe 5,000, because you're not just buying one, you're buying 3 session hours. So 3 hours here, 3 hours there, 3 hours there. If you want to buy a share, you're going to spend $36. If you're going to buy 2 shares, you're going to look at probably $75, and so on and so forth. But every time you add a share in of 12-hour blocks, you actually add to what you're going to earn back if you hit the block. Now, just to clarify one more time, if you solo mine a Bitcoin, those are your chances of hitting a block, 1 in 59,000. You could go to Bitcoin Cash. This is somebody, you may have heard of him, Londart, LDA. He gave this a shot. I don't know how many he tried before he hit one. I don't know if it was a hammer or if it was a Titan. I don't think it was. I think it was very short. I told him about this. After a while, he gave it a shot, and he hit his within a day. And he was shocked. He double-checked it. He saw his wallet, and he did get the reward. And he was rewarded almost, this varies against to the price, so $1,500 to $2,000, and it worked. I have done this a few times, and I've never hit the block. So it is just how the algorithm hits the block, and your chances are just chances. There's no way of increasing it unless you buy more hash power. So somebody who just signed up, I did the same thing. Signed up, gave this a shot, hadn't received anything. He did it within a day. He was shocked because he did hit it. You can also go to something like Digibyte. This right here is $1.76. Your chances of hitting this is 1 in 1.07. I have done this one before and haven't hit a block. It's just a matter of chance. And if the miner finds the correct algorithm to hit the block, that is probably why this comes up. But it's really cool because you have all these different options. Bitcoin, Bitcoin 2, which is also a cool one if you missed Bitcoin. You have Bitcoin Cash, there's a Litecoin, you have Digibyte. You can go to the GPU stuff like Ravencoin, or even better, you can go to the CPU mining and hit Monero. I've done this one too. 1 in 35. I think I've done that one. 1 in 18. Haven't hit a block. It's not that I don't think it happens. It's just the way things work. And after a while, if you start to spend so much money, you might want to start just considering for example, if you spend $100, you could have bought a BitX. If you start running up to $500, you can buy something called a NerdX++. So it's really just depending on if you want to dip into it. Later on, I'm going to try to do this right here, this mining, and participate in this because, well, there is no way I would ever have a chance to hit a Bitcoin block with this amount of money put towards it. And as you can see, people hit, as teams, they hit a block of Bitcoin Cash, they hit Bitcoin 2, and it happens. So maybe this is the chance they have never, ever hit a Bitcoin block. Plenty of Bitcoin Cash, Digibyte. Solo mining gives you a nice little recap of what they hit. They've hit almost 50 blocks of that, 4 blocks of Dogecoin. Monero, someone or a group of people have hit 6 blocks. So it's just a matter of chance. So that's me. I wanted to give you my honest thoughts about that. I like it. I don't mind it at all. When you have a few Bitcoin here and there that you're willing to spend, don't spend more than you can afford to lose, I guess you would say, as the warning comes up. This is just my honest review. If it happens, great, congratulations. If you want to give it a shot, I get a reward if you use my link, and it helps me out. So if you do, let me know if anything happens. If you don't, I'm sorry. But join the bandwagon because that was me as well. Okay, so here's a couple of things right here. Refer a friend, grow the network. Here's the fine print. It's got to be within 24 hours. So if you too have somebody that you want to jump in this with, just make sure it's within 24 hours, refer each other. And don't expect this to happen. For example, when you do this, you have 4 hours and 45 minutes. It could take up to an hour for your Bitcoin to actually hit your wallet. That's not this company's fault. That's just the blockchain. So with that being said, this is OneClickMiner. I'd give it a thumbs up if you're only willing to spend so much. If you're willing to spend more, then I think you should probably double check a few things to see if you should consider something else. Last thing I want to do is just to look at this team mining. It's going to be running for 12 hours, so you have to divide things in half. So right now it is at 62 petahash. If we go over here to solochance.org and we go to 62 petahash, these are the chances of hitting a block. They're going to run for 12 hours. Every single block that is hit, you have 1 in almost 18,000 chances. If you hit within the hour, your chances are obviously going smaller. If you hit it in a day, you'd have to double that because we're only doing 12 hours. So that would be 1 in 250, which is not bad. If I add another share to that, then that could obviously go down. But we'll see what happens. If I add, I think it'd be 63, it just drops down some. But my shares would actually double if I had 1 already, then it would be 2. So give it a thought, give it a shout if you want to ask any more questions down below. Thank you for clicking on this video. I really do appreciate it. And I hope that you actually do hit a block. And don't forget about me if you do. Maybe hit that Bitcoin block. Thank you very much for your time, and you guys all have a good day.